Evening all, welcome to StarMade. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're going to look at this game. Don't switch off. I know you probably hate Minecraft, but don't switch off. This isn't Minecraft, I promise you. Let me explain. This game is, first of all, let's start with the quick sell. This game is free. That's it, totally free. I don't know if they're going to charge for it in the future, probably, but as it stands right now, it is completely and utterly free. And it is a space game, right? So what I'm actually doing here, first of all, let me just explain why it's a bit fragmented. It is almost impossible to fraps this game. I think it must be something to do with my fittings, my settings. I have no idea what I've done, but it just spazzes out every time I do it. So basically, the purpose of this game is you make your own ships, and then you basically have an unlimited space universe where you can go and fly around in. And the kicker, the thing that will probably interest you, is that there's no limit on the size of ships you can build. Ooh, indeed. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm building basically the SS Awesome Pyrex Massive Nasty Killer Ship thing, name pending. And basically this thing is well, you can basically see in front of you there was a sort of wrecks, a derelicts of a great big space station. Now, let's go in through, basically, let's try and talk about how we're going to explain this. Basically, each block has a function, okay? And you can have little sort of stub fighters that basically go and do fightery kind of things. And you can basically build all the way up to, you know, great big capital ships, such as what you see here. Now, I've been playing this game for probably a week. So this is, and it's bizarre because actually in the week of playing, I've actually become, you know, quite obsessed with making a bigger ship. So your ship is something that will evolve as you continue playing, which is a really exciting concept. And basically what you do is you have a number of blocks, you know, steel, hull. I mean, to be honest, there's many different types of blocks. And you have to basically build ship systems. So those things I'm just removing there are ship's generators, they're lights. The grey thingy big bob is hulls. And you can see there's glass there. Then you've also got things like you've got a core, you've got the ability to salvage things, and you can salvage and mine things. Literally, the game is pretty impressive already, and it's just like a massive beta at the moment. And to go to it, go to Google StarMade, and you'll be able to download the stuff there. We are probably going to have a server of this running, so if anybody wants to come play, if you like what you see, then come join us, because it's good enough for running a server. I think it's an interesting game. It looks awful, but this is where Minecraft started, and I think it's quite interesting concept. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm building a bridge. I've got my ship's become so big now that it's become multi-leveled. So just jump forward. Now what I'm building here is an extension to the rear of the ship. Now basically you don't have to worry about the vacuum of space, because you're always in a space suit. And in each ship you have this something called build mode, which is what I'm in here. And you can basically see I'm able to, you know, access hundreds of different types of blocks, from minerals to rocks to ice and whatever. You've got things like chests, and then you've got things like, that's just ship's core there, and you can see those screens, they all do something. Basically you have the ability to have weapons, computers, you can have salvaging computers, and then you link your cannons and your salvaging lasers to them. So it sounds eternally boring, but I promise you it is for about a minute until you figure it out. Once you figure it out, you actually think to yourself, well, go on then, let's see if we can break this engine. And so far, I mean, this is actually maybe about 3 or 4 days old footage, and the ship has probably doubled in size since then, and it's still going strong. Now, obviously, there's a bit of field word physics going on here, so you have to put things like proper engines. So if you don't have enough engines or enough power, your ship's going to be dead in the water. Also, you need to shield it, because basically any pirate that comes along will take you down. You also can do clever things like build turrets and sit them with an AI computer on your ship, so that they'll shoot anything that comes within range. It is impressive, I've got to admit. I mean, it's rare that I'll actually stop the press, if you like, and actually say, whoa, what's this game? And so that's why I'm bringing you this, because it is actually very good. It's good stuff. Now, again, it's probably not the most, if you've never played Minecraft before, then you're going to have a bit of a difficult time with this. But I'm proud to say I have played Minecraft many times. And I think this to me was almost like the mod in Minecraft that I always wish I had, because again you have this ability, and to be honest, that's probably where it started, to be honest. But you have this ability basically to explore this huge rolling universe where each planet can be landed on. You'll come across random encounters, PvP, all that stuff. You'll also come across NPCs. You'll also, basically find stations that you can actually start to claim. So you can actually claim these things. You can also just go and mine. The mining system is excellent, and I'm just hoping that I show some in a minute. But you have the ability to obviously mine asteroids, which is relatively cool. But you also have, as you get better in the game, and you get a ship such as this, you basically can become the Vogon constructor fleet. And this ship, I mean, I'll probably hope to show the front of it in a minute. This ship has the ability to literally demolish planets now. It's that powerful, and we'll show you towards the end that ability to basically scour great big rents of a planet. It's basically a planet cracker. I'm actually going to subtitle this the ship a planet cracker. What I'm also doing as well is, again, it's fascinating that there's really no limitation to what you can build. So what I'm actually going to build here is basically a terraforming module. And what I mean by that is we're actually going to grow and grab. As you can see, I've got trees and leaves and grass and dirt and rock and sand. I'm actually going to build a terraforming module. It's very much like Silent Running. If you remember that old film with Bruce Dern, Silent Running. God, show me age really badly there. I remember seeing it as a kid, and it was about these robots that basically. If you know what I'm talking about, post in the comments. If you don't, then just sit back and mock me for talking about an old 70s film. Basically, it's about this huge spaceship where there's only one man on it, and everything else is serviced by robots, and it just becomes this one man's desire to maintain the terraformed domes. And I think this game is quickly becoming that, because at the moment I'm playing on my own. I mean, Josh is playing this as well, but I think eventually I'm going to go a bit funny, I think, because I'm actually becoming quite passionate about having a terraforming garden, if you like. And this comes in two flavors. So you'll have the grassy green tree kind of foresty bit, then below we're going to have an icy sort of planet thing. Then we're going to build maybe a lava planet. Again, just love the fact that you can even do this in a game. It's very nice. You can land on the planets, so you can actually go and land on the planets. Now, currently the planets aren't great. They're literally just great big discs of rock at the moment. And you'll see that as we get close to one just a bit later in the video. But they are going to improve that. And I think already it's not a bad thing. When you actually start to think about it, you can build a great big city on a planet. You can have orbital elevators into the atmosphere. Then you can have ships docked to it. And you can dock many ships. The beauty of this is you basically buy ship cores. And a ship core is basically the quintessential essence of the ship. And once you've done that, you then can basically build any type of ship around it, stub fighters, whatever. Literally you can make turrets also in the same fashion. So you can have a turret, great big turret with AI controlling it. So it's really nice, and I think I'm quite blown away by how good a job they've done with this, considering also, again, it's free, and it's also a developing game. So, very, very impressed. A few bugs, not many game-killing bugs. I've not lost anything yet. The money in the game is phenomenally easy to come across as well. Once you start to really get, many salvage lasers working, as one, you can basically strip an asteroid or a planet of all of its essences and sell it. If you do play this game, let me give you one word of advice. Space stations, find these derelict, here you go, so find these derelict space stations like that and just salvage as much as you can. I do apologize, I can't show you too much of it because this frap's just absolutely spazzed out. But so here we go, my great big mammoth of a ship is now moving away from the space station, and there's shops all over, so you never really run out of blocks. And the shops, I mean, it's a bad word for it, ports, the babies think of them. And here you can buy any kind of module from, and again, there's missiles, there's explosives, there's, all manner of things in the game that I think really do make it quite fun. And again, it is completely open world sandbox kind of stuff, so you can pretty much go and do what you like. So there we go, just a quick example. I just did a very quick laser of a planet, and as you can see, I just stripped it very nicely, completely rented into the ground. We'll show you more of it. I think it's a buggy thing at the moment when it comes to capturing, but in terms of playing it, it's actually very smooth. And you start to become absolutely obsessed with making a massive ship. So here we go. This is my my cockpit, lol. And as you can see, I've got gravity. So I've actually had to buy a gravity module, or a series of gravity modules to give me gravity. Those are my power generators. Then we walk into my arboretum. Is this like that? I forget. There we go. Look at that. Flowers. Lovely. So this is exactly what I was having in mind. A lovely kind of, home from home, let's say. and I'm really quite pleased with that. And again, I'll show you some of the other stuff. This is really, it's still quite old. I'll show you some more of this as we go, but let me know if you're interested in seeing more of these. I think it is a good game, and it's a bit of a slow burner, and I'd recommend you check it out. And again, I would stress it is free, and I would admit rather fun actually. One of the few fun things I've played casually. You know, it's a very casual game, and I do think that's well worth a check. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.